In this video, we will break down how to solve one-step equations using addition and subtraction. These are the simplest types of equations, but understanding them is the key to mastering more complex algebra. We'll go over the logic, the steps, and a few common mistakes to avoid, all under a few minutes. Alright, so let's start with addition. So here's the first problem. You can pause the video or you can simply solve it in your head or grab a piece of paper. Now, we need to solve for this variable m. So we need to find a way how to isolate or leave this letter, this variable m by itself. So how can we do that is by, if here we have subtraction, we need to do the opposite of subtraction, which is addition. So we need to add 8 on this side, and what we do on this side, we do on the other side. So these will cancel, and you see we have isolated m. That's our goal. Now, negative 12 plus 8, our final answer over here, this side should be negative 4. Right, so negative 4. So m equal negative 4. And if you ask yourself, how sure am I that this answer is correct? Well, you can substitute m with negative 4. So let's go ahead and substitute m with the previous problem, negative 8 equal negative 12. If you see over this side, negative 4 minus 8 will be negative 12. So negative 12 equal negative 12. So if both sides agree, your answer is correct. Here is another problem. P minus 5 equal 15. What's the goal is to isolate the variable. So we will work on the side where the variable is. So let's add 5 over here and they will cancel. Let's add 5 over here. So P will equal 20. And once again, you can substitute P with negative 5 and both sides should agree. 15 equal 15. If they don't agree, you have made a mistake around in the beginning. So make sure both sides agree. Good. Now, let's move on to solving another problem. Try this other problem. 20 equal y minus 8. So first we were working on the right side. Now we know we work from the left side. So always find where the variable is. So the variable is over here, y, and we need to isolate that y. So what's the opposite of subtraction? It's addition. So we need to add 8 on this side and let's add 8 on the other side. These will cancel. The y has been isolated. Now 20 plus 8 will be 28. Or you can simply rearrange this as y equal 28. You substitute y with 28 and you should get 20 on this side and have 20 on both sides. Alright. Let's keep practicing one-step equations for addition. Here's one to solve in decimal order. So what's the first thing you need to do over here? Isolate k. So on this side, the decimal, we need to add 0.5 and these will cancel. And over here, we need to add 0.5. Now, we have isolated k. That's our main goal. So now, let's add 2.3. We always align, whenever we add decimals, we always align them together. Over here, 3 plus 5 is 8 and simply bring down the 2. So k equal 2.8. This is our answer. Good. Now, let's try one fractions. So w minus half equal 5 over 8. So our goal is to isolate w. So let's add half over on this side and they will cancel, and let's add half on this side. So we need to find the denominator over here. So let's rewrite this problem. Let's do it this way. There are different ways to solve fractions. I'll just use this simple way here. Now, this will be 1, this will be 4, and over here, this will be 1, and this will be 4. Now, 2 times 4 is 8, 1 times 2 is 8. So our denominator will be 8. Now 1 times 5 is 5, and 1 times 4 times 1, or 1 times 4 is 4. That will be 9 over 8. So that's our answer. W equal 9 over 8. And if you substitute W with 9 over 8 and you solve this left side, you should get 5 over 8. Right here are two problems that are not very common, but you will always see them on quizzes and tests. This one over here, and here's another one. Pause the video, solve it by yourself, or simply follow and solve it. Okay, so let's solve the first problem. So we need to isolate b, so let's add because we are subtracting here. So add, this will cancel, and let's add 40. Okay, you see here, negative 40 plus 40, you owe 40 and you have $40 to pay back, so you will end up owing nothing, 0. So b equal 0. That was easy, but I've seen many students confuse and get it wrong. All right, over here, before anything else, look inside the parentheses. We have negative 12, and over here we have a negative sign. So before doing anything, don't confuse yourself. First, let's get rid of this. So we are actually multiplying here. Negative times a negative. Whenever you multiply, if the signs are the same, you will get a positive. Okay, so will we have m now plus 12 and equal 10. So what we do on this side, we need to do on the other side. So now you see here we are adding. So what's the opposite? We need to subtract 12. Let's subtract 12. All right, so now m is isolated, and now we have 10 minus 12. So our answer will be negative because you have $10 and you owe $12, so you will still be owing $2. So our final answer for this problem is negative 2. And if you go ahead and substitute it with m, you should get positive 10. If this video is helping you, please remember to like it. Now let's solve one-step equations using subtraction. So here are two problems. Pause the video and practice. Okay, all right, let's solve the first problem. All right, what's the goal? Isolate b. That's the first step. We need to isolate b. We need to locate b is over here. Now we have a positive 4. So what is the next step is that we need to subtract over here, and let's subtract over here. Now you see we are adding negative 17 plus negative 4. So we're adding these two numbers. In other words, you owe $70 to your friend and you owe $4 to another friend. So you owe a lot of money. So that would be 17 plus negative 4 will be negative 21 equal b. Alright, so final answer, negative 21. Okay, here's another problem. Let's solve it. So here's our variable. We need to isolate it. So let's add 12. Let's add 12. Alright, so the answer over here will be negative 6. Negative 6. This is our final answer. Now let's practice one-step equations with decimals. Solve this one. And let me know down in the comments if this video is helping you. I would love to read your comments. Alright, so here's the other problem. Go ahead and solve it. So over here, let's locate the variable. It's L, but be careful over here before anything else. Always try to see what's weird in the problem over here, right? So we are multiplying, guys. So once you multiply, when the two signs are different, you will always get a negative. So here we will rewrite the problem as negative 0.2 or minus 0.2. So let's rewrite this one over here. Now, isolate L, we need to add the opposite of subtraction. These will cancel, and now let's add 0.2. So negative 3.2 is smaller than 0.2, but we always take the sign of that number that looks the biggest. Just don't confuse yourself. So we will have a negative answer. So 2, negative 2 plus 2, these will cancel. So simple answer, negative 3.0. All right, so what is L? L is negative 3.0, final answer. All right, here we have J, and we need to subtract over here. So we will cancel over here, minus 1.2. Always align the decimals when you're adding or subtracting. Let's minus 8 minus 2. 8 minus 2 will be 6, and 2 minus 1 will be 1. So our final answer, it is positive. So J will equal to positive 1.6. This is our final answer. Now let's practice some fractions. Over here we have a first problem, and over here I'll just write the other problem, and you can pause the video and solve it yourself. Alright, so we need to isolate the letter W, the variable W. So what I do on this side, which is add, I need to do on this side. So these will cancel, and now I can take this fraction over here and let's solve it so we keep our working organized. So let me do this fraction method. So we need to make the denominator the same. So this will be 1 and this will be 2, this will be 1 and this will be 2. So now these two have to match. 2 times 2 is 4, 1 times 2 is 4. That's our denominator. Now 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 2 is 6. So we have 1 plus 6, which will be equal to 7 over 4. So what is W? W is 7 over 4. This is our final answer. All right, here is X. Let's isolate X. So we need to, here we have a minus, so we need to add 3 over 8. So let's add over here 3 over 8. These will cancel. X has been isolated. Now, look over here. We have the same denominator. So this problem is straightforward. Let's go ahead and let's solve 3 plus 5 or 5 plus 3. So that will be 8 over 8 equal 1. So X is equal to 1. Alright, now let's practice some problems that are not very common, but these ones is where a lot of students make a lot of simple mistakes. But don't worry, we will handle them easy right now. Okay, so our goal, like always, is to isolate the variable, but look over here, we have a positive and a negative, so we are multiplying over here. So remember, when the signs are the same, we will always get a positive. When the signs are different, it's negative. So we will have k minus 9 equal 7. Now, the opposite of subtraction is addition. So we will add over this side, and k will be equal to 16. Did you get this answer? Let me know down in the comments if you did. Now, over here, similar, different signs will be minus. So m minus 8 equal 2. Let's add 8. Let's add 8, and m will be equal to 10. Alright, so I hope these one-step equations help you out. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next lesson.